Hey guys, how you doing? Spencer's Crypto Vibe. Welcome back. We're all looking at the market. We see what's happening. Bitcoin popping. Bitcoin's running like crazy. It's a $2.3 trillion market cap, right? 2 fucking days ago, it was 1.9 trillion. That means $400 billion has been injected into this market in the past 2 days. I think everybody kind of knows right now that it's probably the doing of the ETFs and that kind of thing, and the big money coming into the game. I just know Bitcoin's going to do what it do, right? Once it does what it does, then what happens to the coins that I'm even more interested in, that are going to hit harder than Bitcoin? And the main one is Solana. But I'm not going into Solana today. I live on Solana. If you look at an old video of mine back here, it'll tell you I was on Solana when it dipped to $8, and everybody's saying, what's going to be the next Solana? They thought it was over because of the FTX debacle. And I was like, the next Solana is going to be Solana, dude. Trust me, it'll be back. But anyway, this video is not about Solana. I want to explain how this market is going to 5x from here. If the market 5x's, if you're not in Bitcoin, the lower down the market cap scale you go, the bigger the boom. Depending on where you are, this could be a 20x market. It could be 100x. Or if you have a difference of opinion, I want to know it. Please tell me in the comments, and let's get into this. So the first thing I want to look at is if we're looking at this chart that shows Bitcoin interest over time. Let's look back. These dates are kind of hard to read, but August 30, 2020. Okay, so we know the last bull run, the highs hit the 64K and 69K. The 64K peak happened in March or April. I can't remember which date exactly, but we'll say somewhere between February and April. So anyway, this is that pump. The interest is basically like who's searching for Bitcoin. Like when retail's talking, they're talking about Google searches, social media searches, that sort of thing, looking at cryptocurrency. The interest gets real high when the price spikes, right? So this is mostly all retail. This is when people are starting to look at it. And then it dropped back down. It lost interest as Bitcoin started to collapse a little bit. And then this was the second peak towards the end of 2021, which was the official, I guess, when people think the bull run's actually peaking. This was the real peak. There was less interest in it the second time because people they've already known about it. So more new people come in. So this isn't a decline in interest. This is more people coming back in for the 2021. But it's much less because they're already hip to it now. They've done it. Now, let's move all the way out. This chart always blows my mind. We're almost back at the price. Like we'd be about here. We're this close to the all-time high. Which, remind you, this is the all-time high. But we're at this area right now, and look at the interest is not even starting to move. It's very barely starting to peak back up. That is one interesting chart. When retail pops back up to this, and we do another one of these motions here, from here, and this price was 64, and down here we're at 61, 62 right now. Like, what is this going to do? What I want to do is look at the chart. So we're at 2.33 T, 2.33 trillion. That's insane. We're 5%, maybe 6%. We're under 10% from the all-time high because we hit 3 trillion last time. How we know this is moving is the Bitcoin dominance. This is what we know. Like this is popping. 53% of the money right now that's coming into the system is going into Bitcoin. And normally, well, I'm used to seeing these numbers at about 40% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, or even if it's like 41.18, like it's different. The money hasn't flowed out yet. It's all going Ethereum, and you can see that. Of the Bitcoins and that are in the market right now, 20% right now in the past week is what Bitcoin's pumped. You know, 14 for Ethereum, 10 for Solana. This is how it looks. Now, some of the stuff that I want to show you is like, let's look at Bitcoin. We're at 𝐦𝐨𝐷𝐿. Now let's go out to max. I want to look at this whole chart. So here's what we're talking. From about, let's see where the halving would have been about in April, probably like here. So let's say the halving was here, where it happened. I don't have the actual information, I mean, the actual date demarcated on this line. But what happened is approaching the halving, we had from the 2018, so from the all-time high at 20, the last all-time high, which is roughly 20,000 right there, we came down to the halving point, which was about here. Right before the halving was this little area. We had a little bit of a pump, and then we had a dump. And the dump was right here at this point. So we tailed off. We had a nice little run, but we were, in general, going downward, a downward trend at the halving. And then, at our low point here, which was about 3,500. It's not showing on this chart the same. We hit about 3,500 at the low, and then we rocketed up. So when sometimes people look at the all-time high and say it's 20. So about right here is where they declare that the bull run starts. Okay, from that point up to our highs, from 20 up to near 70, which is like 69, we pumped a 3.5x. That's not necessarily the case, because right here we were at a 3,500 low, which here it only shows 5 grand. On other charts it's 3,500. I remember it because I got a little bit there. So from 3,500 up to almost 70 is a 20x. Big difference in the numbers whenever you're calculating your x's. When does the bull run start? Does it actually start from the lowest point of the consolidation up to the top? That's what I'm concerned about. That's what I'm curious about. Because right now we went from 69, which I'll never get to it, all the way down to 16. So there should be a 16 here if it shows up right. Yeah, so 16.6. To me, that's when the bull run started. The bull run didn't start once we get back up to this all-time high. It doesn't start there like that. To me, it starts here at the bottom, 16 grand, and now we're up at, what's the price? 61K. My opinion, we already 4x'd. Okay, once we reach the all-time high, it's just in the price discovery. We're ready to go at that point. I think if we're 20xing from this last run, from this bottom to this top, was a 20x. If we 20x'd from here, from 16, we're at $320,000. In actuality, from this point, if we started counting from here, we'd still be looking at a 5x. Okay, so this is how crypto the market can 5x from where we are right here. But in actuality, to get to 300x from 16, that's about 20x. That's about where the last run is. With the halving, if the halving starts here, look at what happened. There's no retrace after that. It's kind of like a little bit of a slow grind up, and then the thing rockets in 6 months. So we're not necessarily going back down, in my opinion. And also, the different thing about this cycle here and the one we're about to be on now is we didn't have government money. Not government money. We didn't have industry money. What brings the big change in crypto is the retail. Normally, once something big happens, we have a catalyst that sparks the market. That's when it starts getting in the news. That's when it starts getting in people's browsers. And that's when people start to FOMO in at the very top. Well, we had a catalyst now. We got the ETFs launched, and they've been buying up like crazy. For instance, these are the 10 funds, all different color coded. And it's just explaining on this chart really briefly, like how much they're buying. 700,000 Bitcoin. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The past 9 buys, the past 9 weeks. These are only 3-day periods. Look at look how much they're buying. This is just showing all the different exchanges and what their balance is, how much they have to put in order to keep up with the current pace of the ETFs buying up Bitcoin. What I think that's saying is there's not going to be much Bitcoin left for people to buy. Let's look here. The ETFs buy. This is what an example of their order book looks like. Look at the time. These are the same day. From 2022, from February 22nd, they added 108 Bitcoin. And now their balance is 45,557 Bitcoin, worth 2.3 billion. At 9 o'clock, they added another 100, another 100, another 102, another 100, another 102, all the way up to February 25th, a few days ago. They added another 100 Bitcoin to take their balance up to 46,883 Bitcoin, worth $2.4 billion. Here, it says, ETF purchase order gobbling up 9,000 Bitcoin every day. The current mining threshold is 900 Bitcoin a day. They're buying up 9,000 Bitcoin a day and only making 900 Bitcoin a day. The point is, there's not going to be any Bitcoin left to buy. That's a 10-to-1 purchase to availability ratio, and we haven't even had the halving. This is insane. I think this is going to take Bitcoin out of the realm, and it's essentially going to leave you to say, if you don't have Bitcoin at this point by the halving, or maybe a month or two after the halving, it's going to be hard to come by. The thing is going to rocket. What that's going to allow is the money to drain down into the alts and into the smaller alts, which is going to absolutely blow faces off. Guys, you see what I'm saying? So what do we do with that info? We're approaching all-time high before the halving. Last halving, there was a little correction, and we weren't anywhere near the all-time high. We took a nice little correction before the halving, and then only continued to go up from that point. To me, that's when the bull run started. This year, we're approaching the high before the halving. Now, we still have a month of March for that correction to happen, for us to take a sharp dip down to kind of line up with what happened before. But I don't know that that's going to happen because we got new influences. We got new inflows of cash coming in at 900,000 Bitcoin a day. Like wait. Let me get that right. 9,000 Bitcoin a day coming in. I don't know if you get a correction there. I think this is going to be insane, and it's something that we've never seen before. And those that had a 2021 bull run that was lackluster and you felt like it didn't quite achieve its potential, I agree with you with that. But when you really look at the chart, if you were to take advantage of Bitcoin's bottom or anywhere close to it, it was much bigger than it seemed like. If you missed the tokens that didn't boom like you thought they might, and that millionaire maker run that you thought you might have, that's understandable. But yeah, I'm having a hard time. I wash my hair. My hair is really, really heavy, so it's pulling down like crazy on my headgear. But what do you think is going to happen this year? To me, I think there's no question. I think this is a 5x season for the overall market cap at bare minimum, and I mean from here. And I'm thinking that's going to put us at a 300,000 Bitcoin. Extrapolate that into magnanimous gains for other tokens that you're in outside of Bitcoin, if you are. And I think we should strap in and enjoy this ride. This is absolutely insane to watch happen. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're in it. And I hope you're starting to take advantage of this. And don't get impatient and move your money too many times and miss what's about to happen. You know, they always say the market is nothing but a place for impatient to transfer their money to the patient people. So stick around. Assume that all the research you did and all the work you did, like, live on that and be happy with that. And I hope you take advantage of the season. Ultimately, I hope you make some money out there. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you. Peace.